This is my Module 5 Encourage the Heart video by Taylor Capps for AEP 855 Educational Leadership. Part 1. The first article I found was called And the Walls Came Tumbling Down by Jim Collins. This article relates to inclusive leadership because Collins believes the organization should be defined by core values and purpose, not by traditional boundaries. Organizations and leadership at times feel that tradition may exclude certain classes, genders, and are not always fair and equitable to all of the followers. By having strong core values, this helps the organization to become inclusive leaders. More on this article by Collins. He believes that connections and commitment should be allowed with freedom of choice rather than power and control. This aspect of leadership allows for equitable choices. Overall, Collins is working towards breaking down walls as simple tradition. This allows for inclusive leadership to begin working its way towards an inclusive style. This allows for leadership to be equitable and fair for all followers. The second article I found was called Moving the Dial, Measuring Inclusive Leadership by Charlie Morrow. Morrow believes it is important to appreciate the accomplishments of all followers. This will help to develop the best out of all of our followers. Inclusive leaders are encouraged to use collaboration and appreciate diversity. This helps all followers to feel valued, understood, and most importantly, included. Inclusive leaders notice and depend on strengths and experience of their followers to help them be more successful inclusive leaders. Morrow, this is for Article 2 continuing, Morrow feels there are 3 important areas for inclusive leaders to focus on for improvement. The first is leading yourself. It's important that you learn to realize that everyone has unique perspectives and experiences to offer. You also need to lead relationships and network with all followers to build confidence in everyone involved. Also leading culture, building an environment for all followers to feel welcome and comfortable in the organization. Overall, Morrow feels that inclusive leaders should focus on results by valuing and appreciating diversity and talents of all the followers in the organization. I found another article and it was a short video called Positive Pressure All Children Can Learn, and this was from Michael Fullen, who is who I actually did my leadership research project on. And this video tells us that all students can and do learn, and they do not feel that enough students are graduating and succeeding based on the fact that all students can learn. Also, focus needs to be put on strategies how to make sure no child is left behind, not just writing laws and policies about it. Fullen is also working towards helping all students succeed and receive the education they deserve. This is fair for all students and all children. Part 2. I feel that educational leaders work with students, staff, parents, and community members on a daily basis. My focus is education administration, so administration can be successful by implementing inclusive leadership because it is important that all students receive quality and fair education. Also, administrators will be successful when they utilize inclusive leadership by allowing the staff to be included in decision making. Decision-making matters. Inclusive leadership in the school setting will help to raise teacher and the school morale. If the teachers feel a higher morale, this will feed off onto the students. The positive environment and relationships created will allow students to feel safe and comfortable in their learning environment, which will help them to be more successful in the long run. In order for an administrator to work towards the success of all students, they should be an inclusive leader. Not only are they inclusive to all students, they should also be inclusive to all staff, all parents, all community members. No matter race, class, gender, anything, everything should be fair and equitable for all stakeholders. I went deeper into part 2, into the 5 areas that our book talked about through the class. So starting with Model the Way. Modeling the way is one of the most important jobs that us as teachers and administrators have to help our students succeed. Educational leaders have the opportunity to lead by positive example and model positive character and behaviors for our students and parents and other staff members and community members. Educational leaders can make a long-lasting difference in students' lives by giving them a reason to care and setting a positive example for them to follow. Inspiring a shared vision. As a teacher, I feel it's important to have a shared vision with my students and with my parents and community members. As an administrator, it's also important to have a shared vision with staff members as well as community members. It is important to be an inclusive leader while creating, collaborating, and sharing these visions. It's important to include everybody and not make people feel like they weren't involved or it's not a fair decision. Continuing on with inspiring a shared vision. As a leader in my classroom, I try to inspire my students to be positive in every situation they face. We talk all year about having a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. And this has helped to encourage positivity with my students and throughout my entire classroom. We've learned to face situations, even if they're difficult, that we still have room for improvement and we're going to get there. We might not be there yet, but we're going to get there. I have also worked towards inspiring a shared vision of being positive, passionate, energetic, and helping others is by modeling these actions to my students on a daily basis. They can feed off my energy in the classroom, and I want them to have that same desire for learning and helping others. This will help students to be committed towards working together. My hopes are that these values will continue throughout other aspects of my students' lives, not just in the classroom, but when they face situations at home or when they're with their peers outside of school. I strive every day to ignite a spark within each one of my students to be intrinsically motivated to be a positive, passionate, and energetic in every situation we face daily. This will help to build these values to become habits, and they will be committed long-term to help others with a positive attitude. I think it is important for my students and myself to be invested in these beliefs so we are all on track with a common identity. This will also allow students to become inclusive leaders with their peers and continuing in the future. By being positive and passionate, we also are accepting the diversity of each other because we are positive in every situation that we face together each day in our classroom. In the future, in the long term, I would like to be a principal. I feel it will be important to hold strong to my beliefs of helping others, being positive, passionate, and energetic as a leader in an educational administration position. These values should be expressed and shown to all students, staff, and community members. I feel this will help to create and sustain positive relationships with staff and students and community members. This will help to create respect, trust, and positive morale with staff, students, and parents and community members. In the future, in the short term, I would like to continue enjoying the experience of teaching in the elementary classroom. I enjoy working with my students on a daily basis and working towards building their core values and beliefs that I strongly hold. I also hope to help my students become strong, inclusive, positive leaders of the future generation. Challenge the process. Educational leaders can challenge the process by looking for opportunities to improvement in daily activities. These opportunities should allow improvements for all students. Michael Fullen, who I researched in the research project, encourages putting theory into practice. Fullen believes that all students deserve the right to an education. These are both ways an educational leader can positively be inclusive. Educational leaders should have initiative and create a positive environment for all students in the school. Educational leaders and administration can also learn from successful situations and apply that knowledge in the future to help all students. Enabling others to act. I really felt that Bob Davis gave us great insight on how to be an effective leader without ego. Educational leaders and administrators will benefit greatly from these skills. Also, leading without ego will help to lead inclusively and allow for equitable opportunities for all students, staff, and community members in the school environment. Education and the world need more leaders without ego. Leading without ego will end up with higher success rates and more willing followers. This has great value to leadership situations, including schools and classrooms. As a teacher, I use modeling on a daily basis in my classroom. As I am teaching curriculum or life skills, I also want to be a positive model and role model for my students. Through instructional teaching, I model the concept as I teach it. We then work through guided practice problems together, and then the students are able to practice individually. I really feel that this modeling and the group guided practice helps to set my students up for the best success they are capable of. Students are given practice and time to discuss and ask questions to help clarify any questions they may have through the lesson. This has created many great discussions in our classroom. I feel the modeling philosophy is also important for educational leaders to be successful. Educational leaders can model behaviors for all staff, students, and community members. Encouraging the heart. I feel that this is one of the most important aspects of inclusive leadership. Educational leaders can show inclusive leadership by encouraging the heart of all students and staff. An administrator can recognize contributions and show appreciation to both students and staff. This will allow for celebrations of values and victories within the school community. An inclusive school community offers a safe and comfortable environment for all. I feel that sometimes contributions and appreciation go left unsaid because we don't feel that there's enough time through the day, and these are so important because it's what we're all working towards each and every day. Part 3. Leadership challenges of being an inclusive leader may include stakeholders not believing in the same inclusive vision for the school or organization. It will be important as a leader to find a way to communicate and model the importance of inclusive leadership. Another leadership challenge of being an inclusive leader is balance and time management. It will be important to keep focused and positive through all leadership situations. A third challenge an inclusive leader may face is the experience and lack of strategies to lead effectively lead inclusively. It is important to remember to focus on results, appreciate diversity, and value culture and talents through all followers. These strategies will allow leaders to begin leading inclusively in a positive direction. Leadership challenges of being an inclusive leader as an administrator may be some of the same that I just mentioned, as well as an administrator may have staff members that aren't being fair to all students. It is important for staff members in the building to all believe in the same shared vision to help all students succeed. Another leadership challenge an administrator may face while leading inclusively is difficulty with any parents and/or community members throughout the school year. It is important to allow equitable opportunities for community members to be informed and involved in the school community. It is also important to model valuing diversity and culture so students are able to appreciate the value of the culture and diversity the other students in the school have to offer. Here is the first slide of my references I used through this presentation. And here is the second slide of my references through this presentation. I appreciate your time through this class, as well as watching this presentation on encouraging the heart. Thank you.